Hello, welcome to my studio and welcome to another edition of Art Discussion with me, Adelaide Damoah. So I'm an artist and I like speaking to other artists about how they overcome the challenges that they overcome and how they take steps to achieve some of the achievements that they've achieved in order to keep making work and existing in the art world. Hence this series, Art Discussion. And my hope is basically that I'm able to provide some kind of promotion for the artists, first and foremost. Secondly, that these videos are able to inspire those who watch them. And thirdly, that maybe whether you're a collector or a dealer or somebody who's just interested in art, that you discover a new artist who you'd never heard of before. I think that's important. And I really enjoy them. It's lots of fun. So that brings us to today's interview, which is with a supremely gifted painter by the name of Wendy Elia. I came across Wendy quite by accident. There's a gallery on site here at Thameside Studios, literally opposite my building, and I was leaving for the day and just so happened to bump into her private view opening. So I went in there and met her. I was blown away by these supersized figurative works, which was so confronting and so affected me that I asked her for an interview and she kindly agreed. So I went and interviewed her and we had a great time. And so that brings us to the interview that I have today. And while I was there, she actually gave me a signed copy of her exhibition catalogue. And it has the most fascinating text in there, including a brilliant introduction called Myth Making and Myth Breaking, Wendy Elia and the Constitutive Other by Anna McKay. I'm actually going to read a very short quote from there because I just think it's really interesting. Wendy Elia said, "All painting is a lie. By the very nature of taking three-dimensional space and putting it into a two-dimensional plane, all painting is a construct. Once you accept that it's a lie, it liberates you and you're free to do what you want. There are artists in history who've been trying to get to the truth. Even Cubism was about trying to show the world as we really experience it rather than from a one-dimensional viewpoint. There is no truth. You're always asking questions." I really like that. Anyway, so while I was there, Wendy actually said that she wants to paint me. So I've had one posing session with her and there are going to be lots more coming up in the future. If you know anything about painting from life, it's a long process. So it's very exciting. So watch this space to see how that painting turns out. On to Wendy's background. Wendy studied painting at St Martin's in London and graduated in 1983, and she went on to teach after that. And so she's had a long career of teaching and painting, and she did spend a little bit of time before university making music, but I'll let her tell you about that. And yes, for now, let's have a listen to what Wendy had to say. Enjoy. So did you always know that you wanted to do art?
No, initially I was a musician.
Really?
And I played in a few bands. And I decided that really I wasn't getting anywhere. I couldn't sort of say what I wanted to say with music, and so I literally swapped over. So and decided to go to art school.
Wow. But how did you already know that you had this crazy talent?
Well, I just knew that it was something I was good at when I was at school. And I just remember, I used to be quite good at that. And so, I just literally swapped over. I mean, I did a few classes initially, and I like this. I could spend 3 years doing this. So, started from there really.
Wow.
So I wasn't, I could have been in the music business, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, I swapped over.
What instruments were you playing?
I kind of sang. I don't know if you'd call it singing. It was kind of the beginning of the punk era.
Oh.
And so, funnily enough, I would sort of talk and scream as well as flute, which didn't quite go together. So I played electric flute, and then quite sort of aggressive type lyrics, you know. So yeah, those were the days.
What would you say are some of the most difficult challenges that have happened to you during your career, and how have you then gone on to overcome them and still be here?
Still be painting.
Yeah.
I'm still painting. I'm still standing. Well, sitting. But I think I have a family. I have 3 children. So raising children and trying to paint is a tough call. It really is, because I remember when I was at art school, I was pregnant in my final year.
Wow.
And I remember a tutor actually saying, you know, well, when you leave art school, some of you will do this and some of you will get pregnant. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you're talking about me. But it's not the be all and end all, and where there's a will, there's a way. And it is tough, and I suppose that was the real challenge, to keep working. And I have managed to keep working throughout, even if it meant I was only doing 1 painting a year. I was still managing to keep working. And also making a living. So I actually taught for 35 years, so and that's been mostly, I've really enjoyed that. I've met loads of wonderful people, and I've been glad to sort of pass on my skills, particularly, and particularly to other women. Yeah, it's always a challenge, finding the time to sort of balance things out, you know, between earning a living, raising children. You know, I mean, there's some artists that think you shouldn't have children at all because you can't be an artist and have children. But you know, well, I'm still doing it. I'm still trying. So yes, it's true. You can't dedicate all your time to it, and you might even have to take a few years out. But there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And talking of women and the female experience in the art world, have you felt any particular prejudice as a result of being a woman?
I think perhaps you do have to be, you have to pretend you're more confident if you're not, because you know there's always, I don't know, if you come across as too assertive and confident, then you could be called aggressive. So you have to really play the game, because I really do still feel that it's not an even playing field. As you get older, then what happens? You know, rather than being feisty, you know, you become difficult and argumentative. So, you know, you're always battling this role that people, their expectations, you know, that you should be behaving in a certain way. But I would say, in terms, I don't know, it's a tricky one, isn't it? We only have to look at, what was that show? Painters. How many women painters were in that show at the Saatchi Gallery recently?
Hardly
was
any.
there one?
I don't think there was even one.
Oh, yes, so
Yeah.
there you go. So what's all that about? Surely, you know. But then obviously there's just not many really good female painters around.
Obviously not.
Otherwise. So, yeah, I think that's a tricky one. And I think, as you were saying before, how many solo shows are there around? If we just take the country, you know, mainstream galleries, how many female, I don't know, chief execs are there, you know, running all these places anyway? I don't know. It still seems to me there's a little bit of balancing up that needs to happen. And again, I think often we do ourselves down far too much. You really have to be more confident. You really do.
What does success in the art world, or art world success, what does that mean to you? What does it look like to you?
I suppose it's some kind of recognition, which is good. So getting an award from Pollock Krausen Foundation is great, because it means someone out there has judged that the work you're making is good enough to give you an award. I suppose, you know, you do want to think, you know, work's going to carry on that people are going to get something out of their work, or out of the work you've made, out of your work, and yeah, that's success. For me, it's just being able to make work every year and then show it. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm in that position, that's hard enough. If then that is success, and the more people that see the work and like the work, that's great. I think, you know, if you're going to measure success as becoming rich and famous, then, as I said before, that then you could be disappointed. You know, lower your sights a bit.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got quite a few achievements under your belt: the Pollock Kramer Foundation Award, and then you've shown at the National Portrait Gallery 4 times in the BP Portrait Award. Work in several collections up and down the country. What would you say was the thing that you were the most proud of, and how did you achieve it?
Oh my God. I suppose it would have to be, there was a painting I did of my mother, and she was always saying, well, why don't you paint me? I said, oh, you paint me, Mum. And then, once she was diagnosed with cancer, then I decided I was going to paint her. And so she, I think my daughter went out and bought this purple velvet dress. And she was just a wonderful model. She was great, and I did this painting with this old woman surrounded by stuff, and of course the rubber bullets in there as well, and all of my bits and pieces, and that was the one that got in the National Portrait Gallery for 2010. So that was such a great achievement, because she then came to see the portrait of her just before, you know, she died actually, and she was there seeing this portrait of her, and everyone was saying, oh, is that you? And she wore the same dress. So that for me was an achievement, because, you know, not only was I in the National Portrait Gallery, but also, you know, it was an achievement for my mum, because I just felt it was so nice for her that, you know, that she could see that I was being successful, or, you know, what she perceived as me being successful, and she was so proud. It was great. So I think that was a great achievement. And then, yeah, it is just the fact that I'm still painting. I think that's an achievement itself, quite honestly.
If you could go back in time to 1983, right, when you graduated, what advice would you give yourself before starting out?
Right. Try not to get pregnant for the year of your graduation. That could be tough. Do take up opportunities that come. I feel that I think I made it harder for myself. By thinking that, you know, there was an opportunity around every corner. And I think I would work in more collectives now. I think I'd gather together my few artist friends and say, let's do this, let's do that, because that, you know, they're the people that ultimately will help you. You're stronger as a group, and even if it's, as we were saying, it's just that you're getting shows together or something. I think I would have gone in for that much more than I did, because I felt a bit isolated. I became very isolated, and then as a mother I became quite isolated. I was a single parent as well, and so it was all quite a journey. But I think that would be very important. Yeah, any opportunity, grab it, and opportunities to work in a collective. I think they're the best, and you know, they'll get your work out there, because to my work, the opportunities I've had come from me being in a mixed show and in other parts of the country. You know, London isn't the only place in the world. So get out there, you know. I mean, I had a solo show in Grimsby, which was great, and people were coming to chat to me, and I ran a few workshops there. And it was just so nice that they were really appreciative of the work. You know, with sometimes you show in London, people won't even come and talk to you. You know, and it's like everyone looks very good, but it's like, don't come and talk to me. Yeah, so yeah, any opportunity, anywhere around England or Europe, anywhere. that you can show. Yeah, that's what I would say.
And what advice would you give to somebody who's completely new to the art world, just stepping into it right now?
Or just finishing college or just starting college?
It could be anything. It could be a late bloomer friend, or it could be a young person just leaving, but they're just starting out in the art world right now.
I would say be true to yourself, and that can be hard because you get swayed along, about, if you did this, that would sell, or this is fashionable now. Decide what you want from it. I think that's important. Do you want to become a curator? What kind of art do you want to deal with? Do you want to deal with living room art? What art that fits in with interior decor, which is fine, but be clear as to what you want to deal with and just stay true to it. I would say just stay true to yourself.
Hello, welcome back. Thanks very much for joining me for that edition of Art Discussion with the lovely Wendy Elia. I hope you enjoyed the interview as much as I did. If you have any burning questions that you'd like to ask any artists that I'm going to be interviewing in the future, please do put them in the comment section below. Yes, in the comment section. And I'll endeavour to include them in my, my interviews going forward. So for now, please do subscribe to the channel, because by subscribing you get to keep up to date with the latest interviews like this one, and it also makes me very happy. And if you enjoyed this interview, please do give it a thumbs up, as in hit the like button. Okay, until next time, take care. Bye.